Right. Well, hello everyone. I'm just gonna go on a quick run about IB geography as the 2024 May exams are approaching. What I'm gonna say here is from my experience in the May 2023 session. I've also done an EE in geography and I've got an A. If I recall correctly, I think it was 29. Okay, I'm not sure to be honest because it's been a while and now medical school is my entire life, so that's as much. But before I dive into anything that I'm gonna give you, these are my marks. So I was a predicted 7, but what happened is that on paper 3, I believe that my 12 mark essay was not marked. And the reason why I believe that is that I answered my 16 mark essay before my 12 mark essay, and I've left about half a page, or I think an entire page empty before going into my 12 mark essay. And I didn't write something for the examiner. So I think that's what might have caused it since, like, even before the exam by like 2 or 3 days. Oh, sorry, like all the way like a week or two when I was like writing 16 mark essays. For practice, I wrote I think 3 and I scored like 16 out of 16 on the 3 of them. So that's the reason why I believe I got a full mark on the 16 mark essay, but my 12 mark was left. The reason why I didn't go for a remark is that I just didn't have the money for it, and it's part of the past now. But here are my other marks. So to start things off, we're gonna start with the quote unquote beast because I don't think it's that hard. It's just harder on you mentally. So the first thing is know your writing speed and what you should answer first. In your reading time, I can't recall how much you get exactly, but please utilize every single second of that time. So what I did on exam day is that I went through all the questions. So if I recall correctly, you have 10 marks and short questions for 3 chapters that you have to do. So 3 sections, 3 topics, whatever you call them. You have 3 as an HL and 2 as an SL, and there's like some time difference. So as an HL, one, you need to know which topics or chapters you're answering. So which ones are you the most confident in? In my school, we only did a few chapters, so we only did 3, and we made sure like we were fully competent in them. We didn't do all of them. So your school might be doing the same thing. So know which chapters that you're going to answer during the reading time. Go over the short answer questions, but I am more than sure if you know your content well, you'll be able to answer them. Most of your focus should be on your essays. So you get if they haven't changed the syllabus yet from last year, I don't know if they did. You get 2 options at the end of each topic, and you have to choose one of those 10 mark essays. So once you like skim through all like the short answer questions, start going essay by essay, and keep your mind on the reading time because the moment that you start writing, you really need to start writing. So look at the essay questions, look at the 2 of them, and see which one you can just answer on the spot. Like which one, okay, I have for this question, I have this case study and this case study, and just answer it. Move on to the next one, to the next chapter essay question, and then the third if you're AHL. So just have like an idea how to answer each question. If you have enough, like, well, ideally like 2 or 3 case studies for each question. So just know that you can answer this question easily, and have an idea of what you want to write. And keep your eye on the clock because the moment they tell you you may write, you really need to start writing. Utilize the second point is utilize the reading time effectively. So as we've said, but the other part that I did not discuss is that you need to know your writing speed. So what I mean by that is, for me, when I had my mocks in February, I think, I tried to go through each question, basically each section entirely. So the short question, the 10 mark short questions, and then the essay, and then move on to the next one. Generally speaking, I did not write as much as I wanted on those essays as I wanted to, and that caused my mark in paper one to decrease slightly back in the box. Um, so what I did after the mock is that whatever like our teacher gave us, like a practice paper one, is that I would just practice that I solve the short answer questions first, and then I go for the essays. Now, you need to be really careful when you're doing this because for me, I can write quickly. Um, since I also took KMHL, on average, like I would write like 14 pages a day. So, and I still do that to this day. I still write a lot. So, handwriting. So I know that I can write a lot and I can write quickly on the exam. And that was the most comfortable way for me to write. Even well, it wasn't that comfortable, especially by the time I got like halfway through my second essay in paper one, like my arm was struggling. But I kept pushing forward, but needless to say, I could not write with my right arm for about like 4 hours or do anything with it to be actually like do anything with it for 3 hours after the exam. So know whether you want to finish each topic like entirely, the short questions and the essay, or if you want to do the short questions and then do all the essays together. Know which one you can do more efficiently with time. Just keep an eye on the time because you really need to plan your time well. Generally speaking, if you know your content well, like if you know it really, really well, and I'll get more into this in paper two discussion, and also towards the end of the presentation, you'll be able to answer those short answer questions, and if you've practiced a lot as well, like you'll be able to finish those 10-mark short answer questions in 5 minutes, five if not even less. Like if the topic is your favorite, like you'll be able to even finish it in less than 5 minutes. Because usually two questions are interpreting the graph or whatever they give you, and then it's just two questions about your general knowledge from that topic. So you can't go too wrong. So moving on to paper two, it's probably one of the more easier papers that you will have in your IB final exams. So I've had biology and chemistry at higher level, along with geography at higher level. So and also math, AA as well. So paper two in geography was one of the easier papers. This paper, generally speaking, is just if you know your content, you're going to be fine. Just go through the textbook, go through the lecture slides that your teacher may have provided, or your if you have summary sheets that you made, or if you have Anki flashcards with your classmates, really just go through them. Make sure you know your content well, because I remember when I was doing my paper two, when I was going through the reading time, like I just had that one definition that I just could not answer whatsoever. So make sure you know your content well. Even though I still scored fine on paper two, just know your content and you'll be fine. And you should be able to finish like those topic questions fairly quickly and have most of the time for your essay. Which brings me to my next point, or the third point, is that go over all the questions, know what you can answer, and plan your essay in your mind. So this is more towards the reading time or in the reading time. So go over all the questions quickly, know what you can answer and what you can't answer, and then go to the essay questions. Plan the essay in your mind. Know which question you're going to go for. Know what case studies that you're going to use. How you're going to justify them, because ideally you want to write your introduction paragraph, your yes argument, and well, for and against argument. So the for is your paragraph two, and your against is paragraph three, or you might like you can flip them depending on how the question is worded. And then you have your conclusion. You might as well add like an additional paragraph if you can, depending on your time. Since the marking is, even though it's the same for paper two, but I just felt like the expectation was a bit higher for paper two when you're writing that essay because you generally have more time. And the amount of time that you need for like a 10 mark essay is about like 25 minutes. That's for me. Like I had it timed at 25 minutes. More often than not, I would see people going for about 30 minutes to write the essay. So know your time and practice a lot, time yourself, because it's just really about writing as much as you can sometimes. Keep looking at the time, you know, you really need those like 30 to 25 minutes. That is considering that you have the essay planned in your mind to, to write towards the end of the exam. So keep your eye on the time and write. And to be honest, depending on the situation, sometimes you might want to go for the essay if you have 30 minutes left. Like it depends on your situation, and you need to know your strength because some people are not able to finish all the short answer questions, and there's 30 minutes left. So know whether you can, like, if you're able to get higher marks on the essay in those 25 minutes, or you'll be better off answering the short answer questions if you have like 5 marks left of short answers and then you have the 10 mark essay. So know what you're gonna go for. Also, I can't recall if it's a 10 mark essay. It's been a while. So yes, plan your time efficiently. It's really important. Paper three is the beast for me. It's a 1 hour monstrosity. I don't think you don't have this as a standard level, so this is only for higher levels to suffer through. When you get your paper, when you get your question paper, the reading time starts. I would say this is also what my teacher suggested me, very mentor. Choose the question because you get 3 questions if I recall. Choose them on the 60-mark essay. Whatever 60-mark essay you can answer the best, just choose that question because the 12-mark essay you can just probably just push through it and improvise on the spot. And the reason why I'm saying that is that the 60-mark essay is incredibly challenging to write and to master. Like knowing what to write and how to link it with other topics and make it make sense and conclude it all at the end of the paragraph, that's not easy to do. So make sure that you choose a 16-mark essay question that you can answer easily. You know the case studies for, and in those 35 minutes, you can answer it fully. All 4 of your paragraphs: introduction, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, and your conclusion. Make sure that you are able to answer the 16-mark question fully. And I will actually explain a bit more on the 60-mark essay once I finish this. So know your time allocation, third point, 35 minutes for the 16 marks. If I recall correctly, I used about 37 minutes for the 16-mark question. My hands, since I've been writing a lot by that time, especially after paper 2, I was quite tired that day as well. So 37 minutes, and then the rest was for the 12-mark. And remember, you only have 1 hour to write both of those essays. So keep your eye on the time, and if you see yourself like approaching the 40-minute mark and you're still on your 16-mark essay, just finish that essay. Full stop, conclusion, and go to your 12-mark. Your 12-mark essay has basically the same mark scheme as a 10-mark essay that you see in paper 1 and paper 2. So you really need those 12 marks. And lastly, write it like it is the last essay that you ever write in your life. Yeah, like it's all or nothing then. It's really all or nothing. And I really just want to go over like the thing with the 16-mark essay is that the questions are not going to be easy sometimes. And the even harder thing is that what I saw a lot of people struggle with, at least in my class, well, maybe some people, not most, but There was a good number of them. Is that linking the topics with each other? So what I mean by that is you don't write on your paper that, oh, this relates to topic this to this topic. No, you need to link it conceptually. So let me give you an example. Um, okay, now let's look at this. So let's look at Lisbon. That's in Portugal. So if you look at Lisbon, Portugal, it has a decent population, but around the summer times you have an increase in tourism. That increase in tourism leads to a periodically increase in the GDP per capita in Lisbon for the Portuguese population, because there are more tourists that are going to be over there during the summer, which allows for more jobs openings, which allows for a growth in the tourism sector and also in the economic sector. So those two growths, while they are great, we also need to remember that whilst we have a growth in the economic center, there is going to be more people, more traffic. There is going to be more of an urban stress. There is going to be more noise pollution and light pollution, and there's going to be an increased emission from of carbon dioxide. And that is, as I'm not sure about this aspect, but then it's continually get around saying, okay, depending on your city context, but then you say, oh, so this increase in carbon dioxide will be harmful for the environment. One, two, three. You give like a few statistics. Make sure you always give statistics, right? And then you say, additionally, the government has been not great at adaptation to this problem that they've been facing, or they've been great, like they've been building or sending out more gardens, more greenery to take this heat in from the sun and also help with the pollution. Maybe they decrease the amount of roads or the road sizes, and instead they put on cycling lanes or walkable sidewalks and the improvement of public transportation in that area as well. You can also you just need to link like one thing with everything else, and this is where general knowledge comes in. So make sure that you'll go through what is on your IB geography book. So the most common book is the Oxford book. I was not a fan favorite of IB books. I think they're all kind of written in a horrible way. They don't really explain things well. But as of now, since I'm in medical school, yeah, things can be worse, to be honest, sometimes. So I was not really a fan of IB geography textbooks or any IB textbooks, to be honest, but just go through it, especially for topics that you're not familiar with. Go through your I want to say lecture, but it's your teacher's presentations or sheets. If your classmates have any summary sheets, ask them and see if they can share them with you. Make sure you have a good idea about all the syllabus points, and by that what I mean is that it's really important that you have a general idea about like the topics in general. And this comes really important in doing a mind map. So when you're doing a mind map, you just start from the middle. So like let's say an increase in population. An increase in population, you need more housing, more urbanization, more deforestation, increase in carbon 2 emissions. The government will need to implement new policies for more greenery and more gardens, more open spaces in the city. They will also be having to move, factories to the suburban areas or far away from the city center, and also regulating the amount of cars that can be in the downtown area, improvement of public transport, utilization of green energy, the tourism sector, how the population boom, or well, the increase in the population due to tourism, and tourism seasons, how will that affect the city, and then look at the economic factors, increase in GDP, decrease in GDP, and everything else. And funnily enough, when I did that, I actually did it with a whiteboard pen that you couldn't just wipe off easily. It was a permanent pen, so yeah, needless to say, my teacher wasn't too happy about that. So make sure you don't do that mistake. But I would highly recommend you doing a mind map where you start from one idea and you start branching in every single other direction and include topics from paper one, paper two, and paper three. This will help you immensely in your paper three 16-mark essay. So just do that with all the topics. Lastly, the case studies. So it depends on you from one person to another. Just know like a bit about everything. That's what I kind of did. Is that I knew some countries in extensive detail. So where I'm originally from, where I was studying at an international school, were two different countries. So I just knew like the full details about those two countries. I also know the full details about another country that I have another passport for as well. So make sure that you have like 3 to 4 countries that you know in extensive details, and also make sure you know like enough about the U.S. and China, U.S., China, Brazil as well. Like it helps a lot with the nutrition stuff if you're doing the nutrition topic. Brazil, a great case study. Well, great for us in IB geography, but probably not for the people who are suffering because of this. So keep that in mind. But anyway, so yeah, you just have the US and China at back of your mind and just know a bit about everything because if I remember correctly, I had to actually write about the geography of Russia and the landscape of the Ural Mountains of Russia in one of my essays. I can't recall if that was in the mocks or the finals, but it's really good. And I had to also write about Poland, which I just knew the right statistics source for that 12-mark essay in the paper three. I just know a bit about everything and just know 4 to 5 countries, just like in extensive detail. Don't freak out and avoid having the pointless talk between your paper two and your paper three. I know how you feel that you might feel frustrated that you missed that one question, or you want to go through the textbook to know whether you answered the questions correctly on paper two or not. I'm the type of an individual who was extremely against that break between paper two and paper three. Calm yourself. Go over some statistics that for your case studies because those numbers you can really forget them really quickly. So just go over them quickly. You can have them like on a small flashcard or something, or a small note or a notebook that you can just go over them quickly and you know which one is for which. And write it in clear handwriting as well, so that you don't waste time trying to read. Uh, don't have pointless discussions in the break room with your other classmates. Close your ears off if that becomes necessary. That's what I did for like a period of time. Chill, take a breath, relax yourself, and just go into paper three with all or nothing mindset. So go all the way out. So take a break in that resting period between paper two and paper three. Revise those statistics or some facts about the case studies and really go for it in your paper three. Lastly, my last point is do not freak out in the exam if you cannot recall a specific case study for the 4-mark questions or an essay question. So I don't know if they still bring the 4-mark questions for paper one and paper two. Like for the short answer questions, I don't know if they still bring like anything. I don't know if they bring anything longer than 3 minutes. Sorry, 3 marks because they didn't do that for us. But if they do for you, don't panic. If you can recall a specific case study, just think of something quickly, calm yourself, and think of something like that's relevant to this topic. Like I'm sure you'll be able to find something. Some general tips, as I've said, take a breath, block your ears if you have to in the break room, avoid pointless conversations, and try to clear your mind prior to paper three. Lastly, class of 2024, best of luck with your IB geography exams. You have really nothing to fear for. You've been preparing for 2 years, so give it your best, make your teachers proud, and go for it. This is your moment to shine. And just know that luck is on your side.